So initiating half guard is extremely important because it transitions to a lot of different guards, right? So when I say half guard, we're obviously only connecting to half the body. That's why they call it half guard, right? Closed guard, my whole entire body's involved, right? My legs are wrapped around. But in half guard, I'm only controlling half. And the thing about the half guard is it's almost a transition guard. You can transition to closed guard. You can transition to spider, to lasso, to open guard. A lot of different guards. And you guys will learn about all these guards as we start to progress. But it's extremely important that when we start to develop an offensive game from bottom, it's crucial that you have a really strong half guard, and more importantly, you know how to behave from half guard. Not like behave nice, but behave your body to have discipline. Because if you don't have discipline with your body and you make, not a mistake, but let's say you are lazy with your body position, well, now you might find yourself getting smashed and flattened out from half guard. Okay, so as we learn to position ourselves, let's go through a mental checklist as we pull ourselves into half guard, okay? So just a quick drill to warm up. My training partner is on 2 knees in front of me. So remember, as I'm moving and training and sparring with my training partner, if there's distance, there's uncertainty. And uncertainty, he can do something, I can do something, we both don't know. But when I close the distance on my training partner, the level of uncertainty decreases because I'm connected to him. I can feel where he's going. So right now, there's so much uncertainty that could happen. Anything can happen. He can stand up, he can move away, he can move to the side, move to the left. But as soon as I place my hand on the floor, move in, and connect with him, the level of uncertainty is still there, but it's decreased because I'm attached, right? If he moves away, I feel it. If he moves in, I feel it. If he moves to the side, I feel it, okay? Now let's go through our checklist. So when I have my half guard, I have to make sure that my knee is protecting me from him moving in. As he moves in, I have a knee shield, okay? Second thing on my list is to stack my shoulders. I want to make sure that I'm playing on my side. I have to be able to look at what I'm doing. If my knee's here, but I'm laying down like this, I'm not really looking at what I'm doing. And he has a lot of attacks from here where he can start to flatten me out, turn the corner, and keep me on my back, right? So I want to be stable, almost like a really strong shell, okay? Now my next checklist is hand fighting, okay? Now we're not actually fighting, but we're positioning, and it's a battle with our hands to get into the best position as possible. What does that even mean? For example, if I don't do any hand fighting, let's just say I'm just have my hands by my side, and Derek, maybe he grabs my collar, even worse, grabs my head. As he grabs my head, now what he can do from here, grab my head, and he can start to use his shoulder to flatten me out. And this is never good, because now keep me flat. Now I have to start to push him away to get back on my side, right? I already lost the second battle. So as I've positioned my body, I have to win this hand fight. As he tries to grab my head, I don't let him, right? This is the biggest hand fight. My hands are on the inside position. What I like to teach is basically as if I'm on my side, I'm reading a book, and then I'm showing my training partner the book. So as he tries to grab my head, I don't let him. Just create 2 frames, like T-Rex arms. As he tries to move in, not a problem. My knee shield's here, my hands are here, and my body is crunched like a shell. So that way when he does come in and try to move here, very difficult for him to flatten me out. Another thing, grips. So I showed hand fighting, not allowing him to, but we can't be comfortable letting my training partner get a good grip. What is a good grip? Grabs my collar. From here, what he can do is he can pull me in, and now he can grab my head. Come back. So if he's making a grip on me, I have to make sure I deny these grips, okay? He's trying to grab my gi. Go, try to grab my gi, try to grab my gi. Don't let him, okay? That's extremely important. So it's almost a grip fight, and we're positioning our body to become really sturdy in this position. We're just creating good habits from here. It's extremely important we have good habits, okay? A lot of you guys will extend your knee, come close, lay on your shoulder like this, and then we'll slap like this. We'll say, all right, let's go. And then I already lost the battle here, right? So now he's moving in. I'm trying to push against him, but I'm already on my back. This is a losing battle for me, okay? So to have good discipline, my knee's on his belt. I'm trapping the bottom leg. As he's moving in, my hands are fighting. They're active. They're posting. They're framing on the shoulder and wrist. This is the best habits to have from half guard, okay? So we'll just play a game with each other. We're working on our side, and my training partner is trying to grab my head and flatten me out. He ultimately wants to bring my shoulders to the mat. So let's look at when Derek wins this battle. He pummels his hands in, grabs my head, and starts to move in, pins me to the floor, He wins this battle. Okay, come back. What do I want to do? Make sure I'm on my side. As he's trying to come in, I'm hand fighting, I'm blocking, I'm framing, my knee's in the way, I'm shelled up, my shoulders are stacked, going through my checklist of what I need to do. Now from here, we shake hands, and we go. He's trying to pin me, he's trying to grab my shoulder, grab my head, grab my gi, I'm hand fighting, I'm preventing. This is exactly what I want to see from you guys, okay? So work on developing good habits from this half guard position, a little game to get warmed up, and work on developing a sturdy half guard to not let it get past and to not get flattened out, okay? Because you can lock onto this leg for dear life, but if you're being flattened out like this, you're not going anywhere, right? The thing about half guard is that it can be great for the top person and great for the bottom person. So you have to be careful to not pin yourself on bottom, okay? Hands up, 1, 2, 3. So as you are working in the half guard, it's extremely important to know that you can transition from half guard to closed guard, to open guard, to a lot of different scenarios. You can also just straight up attack and take the back and work on sweeping your training partner from there too. But it's important to know how to transition from the half guard to the closed guard, okay? So the thing about when you transition to different guards, you always want to be a step ahead of your training partner when you transition. For example, if I transition from half guard to closed guard with 0 connections, I'm not putting myself in an advantageous position, right? But if I transition from half guard to closed guard and I'm a step ahead, whether it's breaking the posture or whether I have an arm, whether I have 2-on-1 on the sleeves, that gives me in an advantageous position. It makes me a step ahead. So that's how I want you to think when you're training and rolling and even drilling. Put into your mind, how can I be a step ahead when I'm attacking from bottom, okay? So today we're working on transitioning from half guard to closed guard, and let's take a look at how we're doing that. So remember, as we're training partners are on our knees, let's go back a little bit to the angle, perfect. And as I move in, I have to remember that I have to make a connection and I have to lead the way, okay? I can't have him lead the way coming in and having all this uncertainty. If I just stay here and Derek grabs my pants and stands up, walks to the side and starts throwing my legs up, that's what happens when there's a lot of uncertainty, okay? So to eliminate all that, I engage, I step in, and I initiate on my own terms. I have a half guard with a knee shield and my frames are in. So now from here, if you guys opt to go to closed guard, don't just move away and open your legs and expect for this to go super smoothly like this, okay? Because it might not happen. As soon as I open, he might stand up and move away, right? Or he might go over. So I have to keep in mind that as I transition from half guard to closed guard, I have to have a strong connection and I have to be a step ahead. So as I'm in the half guard, guys, my elbows and knees are in and my knee shield is up. So as he's trying to grab me, we already went through this, not gonna happen, right? So now, look what I'm gonna do with my top hand. My top hand is gonna go from his shoulder to the inside of his collar, palm facing up, okay? From here I can push, pull, turn. I have a connection with him, okay? As he tries to move away from me, it's difficult. The reason why I need to have this grip on his collar is because I'm gonna ultimately open my half guard. Now as I open my half guard, that's when I can start to rely less on having this connection. So as I have this connection, I'm keeping a hand on the wrist, okay? So I'm switching, I'm going from nothing, reaching up, grabbing his collar, holding onto his wrist, okay? Now from here, I can start to open my half guard, bring my second foot in, pull him towards me, breaking his posture, and lock the closed guard, okay? Remember, as I transition, look, I'm a step ahead. I've already broken the posture of my training partner. I can start coming in and setting up my cross chokes, right? Or maybe even sitting up for Kimura attacks because the posture's broken. So it's important that as we arrive from these transitions, we're a step ahead. And the step ahead that we ended was collar, holding the wrist. And now if he postures up, I still have this collar to work on breaking his posture. As his elbows are in, he's working on his defense. Well, now I still have this collar grip. I can start working on climbing his body and work on attacking the arm. Switching my hips, passing my leg over. All because I was a step ahead in the transition, okay? So it's extremely important to know that as we transition from half guard to open guard, we're a step ahead, okay? Let's say, for example, you might have seen this before. Raise your hand if you know lasso guard, right? Exactly. So look, for example, let's say I want to transition to lasso guard. I go from half guard, I start controlling the sleeve that I want, and now look, I just throw my leg over. Now I can take my bottom foot out and I already have a connection, right? If I want to sweep my training partner, I can do that because I ended up in an advantageous position before I left the half guard, okay? So we're gonna work on going from the half guard straight into the closed guard, but safely and a step ahead of our training partner with the collar grip and the wrist. So one more time. When you guys are working, practice on simulating this drill right here. When we're separated and we're engaging. I'm moving in, I'm jumping in, boom, catching, going straight to my frames, and going through my checklist of good habits. Knees tight, my shell is tight, my hands are in. He's trying to grab my head, not gonna happen. We're going straight to close guard. Top hand, inside the collar, strong grip. Hand on the wrist. Now from here I can start to extract my bottom leg, put it on his hip, bring everything really close, and lock the close guard. And now look at all the connections I have. As he tries to move away, impossible. As he tries to posture up, difficult. And the more he postures up, maybe I can switch to an attack of a Kimura or even the hip bump sweep, okay? So let's work on going straight from the half guard to the close guard. Hands up, 1, 2, 3.